Over to there. Okay, we'll go ahead. Let's go with Rory Dollar. Go ahead, Rory.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, mate.
Well played today. Just on the result, you bowl a team out and you chase down with 15 overs to spare. It looks like a bit of a walkover. Did it feel like that, or were there a few hairy moments in the middle there?
Yeah, I suppose a few. Whenever you lose early wickets, I know we got off to a flyer. Obviously, Johnny came out the blocks pretty quick, as did Livy. But when you lose a cluster of wickets, I suppose in any game of cricket, there's always a matter of having to rebuild. And yeah, we obviously needed that at that moment in time. Obviously we should always go on and chase that score, but if you keep losing wickets, it becomes difficult. So obviously Joe's innings, very calming influence as usual, to go on and knock that total off as easy as he did was when he went to the crease, it was looking not so easy. So great knock by him to see us home.
And on your own performance, we know you've been a little bit light on cricket, really, for England. Probably, 7 overs you bowled for England since September. You looked in full control today. I think you only conceded off 11 deliveries or something today.
I felt good. I felt good since coming back, actually. I obviously played a couple of games for Warwickshire, which I still felt I certainly got rid of a bit of ring rust there. But actually, since I've come into camp with England, I've felt pretty good. And certainly today felt like after the first 2 overs, I felt like I found my rhythm really well and hit my straps. And obviously picking up early wickets helps, particularly as an opening bowler. But I felt pretty good today. Felt like I was in good rhythm.
Nice one, thanks, Chris.
Okay, let's go to Will McPherson and Richard Gibson.
Hi, Chris. Just on Joe Root, he's been a bit of a peripheral figure in ODIs since the World Cup for one reason or another, mainly because he plays so much Test cricket, but he sort of provided a real reminder of what a class act he is in this format, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. On his 150th game, I think it's not that he needed to remind everyone, but certainly reminding people today that he's a class act. And as I said just a minute ago, he's very much a calming influence on this group. We've got a very aggressive batting lineup, and we do take the attack to the opposition. But you also, with that, over the last couple of years, we've been very smart, and obviously Joe's a big part of that. He is very much the glue through the middle, and even there today, I think he's got close to 80 off almost run a ball. But actually, when you're watching him, he kind of accumulates without you even knowing it. So a world-class player, and he's made that look extremely easy when it actually wasn't. So great to have him back and playing in ODI colours.
Did you present him with a special cap today?
Yeah, I presented him his 150th. Didn't get much sleep last night thinking about that. And then obviously delivered the speech, then realised I had a game to play. Really nice moment, nice to be asked, and hopefully he appreciated the speech as well.
What did he say?
What did I say? I just said, we obviously realise how much of a world-class player he is. And, sometimes he probably doesn't realise actually how good he is himself. I said that I could harp on about all the stats and the figures. But actually what he's so good at is obviously he trains his nuts off and he's always looking at ways to get better and trying to improve himself, even though he's at the top of his game already. So, that's pretty much the gist of it, really.
Okay, Richard Gibson and John Etheridge.
Hi, Chris. You've missed the middle game of the 2020 series because, as I understand it, you couldn't play 3 games in a row to do with workloads. Is that right?
I did understand that Owen said what he said. I don't think he meant it as he said it almost. I can play 2 days in a row, as you've seen me do that before. But it's more the fact that with the workload, I haven't played much cricket coming into it. And I'm happy to say actually it takes me a little while to get going when I've had a bit of a break. That's when I'm probably at my most vulnerable to getting injury. So in this early period of the summer, getting back to playing some cricket, and once I've got some overs under my belt, that wouldn't be an issue. But at the beginning, I just need to be just a bit wary. That's all. But that's where I stand with that.
Sure. It just seems slightly odd. You have, eight overs in 2 days, but 10 overs there. That was all.
Yeah.
During that time you were out.
Sorry.
During that time you were out. Have you been working on a few variations? Is that ball that you seem to hold in the sort of back of it, almost hold it back in your hand a little bit and just take some pace? Or is that something that's quite new?
Relatively new in terms of bowling it a bit more often and gaining a bit more control with it. It's something which I worked on I started bowling it about 2 or 3 years ago with Paul Collingwood in New Zealand. So we are going back a little while, but it's taken quite a while for me to kind of get the gist of being known when to bowl it, how to bowl it, and having my control with it. And so I bowled it quite a bit at IPL, and I followed that up into this summer, and it's coming out quite nicely. And I'm finding it a nice delivery, and it certainly had a little bit of an effect. So hopefully that can be something which I use moving forward.
Seems to be taking wickets with it as why I brought it up.
Yeah. I suppose that's a good sign, isn't it? Being able to get wickets with it. At the same time, I want to be able to. The thing for me is it's obviously trying to keep improving, but I think for me it's actually quite a deceptive ball. I speak to the lads and having bowled it in training. They seem to think it's a really good delivery and they don't see it. So that's obviously a good sign.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go with John and then finish with Dean. Go ahead, John.
Chris, you'd already beaten Sri Lanka 3-0 in the T20s, and obviously 3 players of theirs have been sent home. How difficult is it to ignore that and make sure you still continue to do a sort of professional job yourselves?
Yeah, I think it's, you turn up on the day to play against another international team. You're stepping on the field for England. You're always going to give 100%. And, we're always being judged, always being scrutinised as a professional cricketer. So, you've got a job to do, regardless of the opposition. So we try and focus very much on what we're doing as a team and as individuals, as players. Obviously, we do our analysis on the opposition and, unfortunately for them, they've lost a few key players, but it doesn't take away from the job that we've got in hand. If anything, it means that we have to be more professional and try and get the job done.
Yeah, hi Chris, well played. I just wondered what you were saying about getting yourself up to speed. Is that something that perhaps other players could learn from as well? We've seen that Josh come into the side after a break and then is sadly injured out of the rest of the series. Jason Royce had a little niggle as well. Is it a thing to be really mindful of, to get yourself up to match fitness before you get to the intensity that you need at this level?
Yeah, I think so. I only speak from my own personal opinions. I've learned over my career more that I need overs and match overs under my belt before I kind of go hell for leather. And we know the intensity of international games goes through the roof, and even more so now with the scheduling, travel, play, flights, trains, cars, you name it. It does make it tricky, and it means you have to be very much on top of your preparation and recovery. The game's got more and more professional in that side of things, and it doesn't mean that Josh and Jason haven't been, because they're particularly that Josh is very much he's probably one of the most professional cricketers I've come across. So it doesn't mean that they're not doing that, but I think it's something which the medical team and the S&C side of things definitely look at to make sure that guys are fully match fit before we throw them in at the deep end.
And then for yourself, you've obviously got the rest of this series, Pakistan, and then the big test series against India. Are you very much hoping, expecting, planning on playing in all of them?
I certainly hope so. I've had a little bit of a little layoff from playing for England. I want to play as many games as I can for England. As we've touched on, there is a bit of rest and rotation, but there is actually a lot that goes into that. It's not just made up, so there is kind of something behind the madness of missing games of cricket. It's not just plucked out of the air. So, these discussions do go on, but at the same time, I do want to play as much as I can. Certainly, want to play a big part for this team moving forward. Hopefully across all 3 formats, but we'll see what I'm picked for. But obviously there's a lot of cricket to come this summer, and want to play as much as I can of that, definitely.
Cheers, thanks, Matt.
Okay, thanks everyone. We'll do the follow-up tomorrow afternoon around 2:30 onwards. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.